Again, seeing you all. So today our subject is going to be the breath. And I am just all a Twitter here because to me, this examination of the breath and all of its manifestations and layers of activity and significance is something of the core of this program that Saraswati and I are presenting in the ongoing anatomy of yoga and the a sense of a scientific basis for our Western understanding of much of the Eastern languages and the terminologies of energy and mental selves and physical selves and all the rest of it. That breath is the great uniter. Breath is what ties things together, both on the living, vital sense of our organisms and of our communications together. I bring that last point up because what I'm doing right now, speaking to you, is a very highly specialized use of breath. And only humans have this controlled use of breath to the degree and the sophistication that we do, that creates human language, an enormously rich communicative avenue with which we can share thoughts, describe feelings, break that bridge of barrier that is between all of us in our own little encapsulated state of being. So what is speech? Speech is very often considered to be a phenomenon of the voice box and the tongue, the lips, the interior of the mouth. And of course, that is true. This inner muscularity of speech involving my voice box, my such la sounds that I form with my mouth. But underneath it all is the control and precision of the breath. Each syllable is a tiny puff of breath that is being pumped up into the voice box, into the oral cavity, and into all of the other mechanics of breath, of speech. But at the heart of it is the control of the pulsation of breath. So rather big deal breath, and a rather broad topic that touches all bases of our yoga practices, all bases of our meditation practices, all bases of our living in a social fabric, a social network, and an intercommunicative community together. So I begin with just this lovely image of the airiness of this dimension of our being, the breathing in of gaseous elements, the exhalation of gaseous elements, and the in and the out that unites our being with the environment surrounding us. So breath in many cultures has been called many things, and the words that have been used to identify, typify, communicate the depth of breath have been quite spiritual and global in their dimensions. Breath is termed in the ancient languages, the Eastern languages, as Atman. Atman is the depth of soul, the depth of being, the depth of our existence, and the depth of our connection of our existence to the totality of existence in which we are embedded as an organism, in the planet, in the cosmos. In the tradition of Jewish mysticism, of Eastern thought in particular, Middle Eastern in this sense, the name of God, the name of Atman, the name of the divine was never to be articulated, because to speak the name, the identifying tag of God, was to make it an icon, was to make it a physical thing, was to make it, in short, an idol. And the naming of God and the idolization, the iconization of that naming was considered to be anathema to the ineffable, wordless, nameless being of the divine that is both within us and around us and embracing all in its hold. So there was a shorthand that they used to actually give some vocal clarity and naming that is not naming, if you will, to this divine essence, this totality of divine being. And the syllables that they used were Yahweh, Yahweh. Now, when written, it is an icon. And as an icon, it is an idol. It is a crystallization of an ineffable beingness that permeates all. And the very crystallization into a word damages that connection with the truth of the ineffable quality of divinity. But I noticed one day, as I was looking at this iconographic written dimension of the word for God in Jewish mysticism, and I was saying it over and over to myself, and I suddenly noticed that Yahweh is, in fact, an articulation of breath. So in the Jewish mysticism tradition, as well as the traditions of Atman, the breath was the articulation and the connection to the ineffable divine. Another name for the activity of breath within us, which we will see in more detail as we go along, is pranayama. The energetic biochemistry functionality of breath, oxygen in, CO2 out, is one of the primary sources of the vital energy that feeds our entire being on all of its levels. The physical level of my body, my muscles, my organs. And it is this physical body, after all, that does the physical act of breathing. And then that is directly connected to my vital energy self, which is the source of all energy that empowers all cells, all 6 trillion of the cells, to keep my organism humming along. And that vital energy in turn feeds the intellect, the consciousness on that level. And deeper than that, what is being fueled by breath, by the pranayama, the chemistry of breath, is the wisdom self, that felt sense of being that is different than the intellect, It is the felt sense. It is the emotion.